Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I will be crocheting it forward by teaching you how to make this festive Thanksgiving turkey couple. We have Mr. Tom Turkey right here and we have his lovely wife Mrs. Teresa Turkey. So hold on a minute and I will show you the materials needed. Okay everyone, so the materials needed for this pattern is some scrap yarn, basically any colors that you want to use for the feathers. But some for sure yarn colors you're going to need is black, red, and white, and of course orange. We'll need some pins. I have a pin cushion here, scissors, some eyeballs, a larger sewing needle, and 2 hole size hooks. In this video, I'll be crocheting with a 5.0 and a 4.0. Okay, so I forgot to mention that we are going to need some super glue. I tried to use fabric glue for the eyeballs. I don't know what I was thinking, but it didn't work. So I did obtain some of this Loctite. Not sure if you can see it. I got it from Walmart for a couple dollars. I think it was under $3, but that worked pretty good as far as gluing those plastic eyes. So we're going to want to take our larger hook, and I'm using a 5.0, and do a magic circle. We're going to do the body portion of our turkey, and do your magic circle or chain 2. This is how I do it. So we want to chain 2, and then we want to double crochet 10 double crochets in our circle. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we want to slip stitch to the top of the first double crochet and not the chain 2. We're going to turn our work, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to go into this next stitch and do 2 double crochets all the way around for a total of 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then this last stitch, 19, 20. Again, we're going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 2. We're going to turn our work, chain 2, and the repeat for this third round is going to be 2 double crochets in your first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next. 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet. I apologize for the thunder in the background. It is raining in my area. However soothing it is, I hope it's not too much of a distraction. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you should end up with a 1 double crochet with 30 double crochets. Okay, from here we're going to do the neck. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to single crochet back down that chain 4. This is 2, 3, 4. We're going to slip into that next stitch on our circle, turn our work, chain 1, and we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. You should have 4 single crochets. We are going to single crochet across. And this is our last single crochet. We're going to chain 1, fasten off, and I will be right back to do the head portion. Okay, so for the head portion, I want you to take your smaller hook, which in my case is a 4.0, and do the exact same thing that you did here. It's going to end up with a smaller circle. It's going to result in a smaller circle. And then I will meet you back after you've done your last double crochet and show you how to attach it to the neck. So if you want to pause, do that, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished my head, and I'm going to show you how to attach it to the neck, and it's just 3 slip stitches. What we're doing is we're matching up stitches as best as we can. So I have just finished my last double crochet on the head portion, so I'm just going to go right over here and slip stitch. Make sure you're grabbing both loops. Wait a second. There we are. And slip stitch. And you should end up with 3. So you want to go back to the next stitch, take your hook and go through that stitch, right across from it, slip stitch, and again the last stitch, and you're just matching. You're matching 3 consecutive stitches across from each other, and then slip. Then we're going to chain 1. We are going to cut our work, sew in our ends, and I will come back and show you how to do his feet. Alright, so we're back to attach his feet. What I've done is I put them upside down, and I kind of know where my feet are going to go just based on where his neck is at. Right here we want to align that, make sure it's even. So I'm just going to do a quick slip knot to attach. We're going to attach to our body the single crochet. From here we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the third chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, we are going to slip stitch for a picot. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and in that first chain we're going to do another slip stitch for another picot. Chain another 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go back into that first chain and slip stitch for the third picot. Now from here we are going to single crochet all the way back to the body. So we should end up with 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we've gone back to the body. We're going to go into the next stitch and single crochet, attach. And I do want to mention, I do have 2 color yarns, orange colors of yarn, and I'm using the darker one for his beak and his feet, and then I'm going to use the lighter orange for his feather. So I wanted to point that out. So moving on to his second foot, we want to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm sorry, I forgot to mention I am still using my smaller hook. We are going to chain and slip stitch into the third chain from the hook for our first picot. chain 3, slip stitch to the first chain, second picot, chain 3, slip stitch into that first chain again, and then from here we are going to single crochet back to the body. 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, and then we are going to slip into that next stitch, chain 1, cut our yarn, and there we have his feet. So you can, and I've been sewing in my ends as I go, so I don't have a lot to do at the end. So that's what I'm going to do. And we come back, I'll show you how to do his face. Okay, moving on to our turkey's beak. We want to get the same color orange that we did his feet in. So grab that yarn, and we are going to attach with the slip, not a slip, a slip knot. We want to chain 4, and we're still using our smaller hook. I'm using a 4.0. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the second chain from the hook, we're going to slip stitch. The next chain, we are going to single crochet. The next chain, we are going to half double crochet and chain 1, and that is it. That is our beak. So sew in your ends, and I'll meet you back so we can move on and do his waddle. Okay, moving on to his waddle, we want to grab our red yarn, and we're still using our smaller hook, our 4.0. And I forgot to mention, and I forgot to do this, you can leave a longer tail so you can sew it in. I didn't do that, not thinking, so I'm going to have to grab some yarn and do that. No worries. If you followed me, I mean, it's not a big deal. So starting with the waddle, which is the loose red skin on the side of the turkey's face, we are going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we want to double crochet in the third chain from the hook. We want to chain 2, and then we want to slip stitch into the next chain in your initial chain. Slip on that. Might be a little tricky. So we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet in that same stitch where you chain 2 from, and then we are going to connect we are going to slip stitch into that first chain, chain 1, and we are done with that. And I am going to leave enough yarn to sew this on. I am going to, however, sew in that little tail right there, and again that goes on the side. So I will meet you back, and I will show you how to do the feathers and pick out his eyes. Okay, moving on to his eyes and his feathers. His eyes, basically, I had bought these from the Dollar Tree. They come in different sizes. Some of them have eyelashes. I believe they're stick-ons. You can put these on again, you know, with a glue gun. They're not going to stick, so you're going to have to use something other than relying on the sticky part on the back of the eyeball. But however, you know, whatever big you want them, however small you want them, that is totally up to you. Right now, I'm going to show you how to make his feathers. And again, you can do this in scrap yarn, any colors that you want. It's super easy, and you can use this this leaf pattern. It kind of looks like a leaf. You can also use it for leaves, I suppose. So we're going to grab our bigger hook. Mine is the 5.0. We're going to slip knot, and then we are going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and try to chain a little loosely if you can. From here we're going to do a picot, another picot for the point. So we're going to chain 3, and we are going to slip stitch back to that first chain, and we are going to use that same slip stitch coming back the other way around, but for now don't worry about it. So in the next stitch we are going to single crochet, next stitch double crochet, the next stitch we are going to do a treble, which is a triple crochet. We're going to do another treble, we're going to do a double, a half double, and then in your last stitch we're going to do a single crochet. We're going to chain 1, turn our work. See, I did that a little too loose. And what we're going to do for the right side is mirror what we did on the right side. So I'm going to work in my tail as I go. So on this first stitch I'm going to do a single. The next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. Next stitch double crochet, and then the next stitch is going to be a triple crochet. Next stitch is going to be a triple crochet. Next stitch is going to be a double crochet. Next stitch half double, and then your last stitch is going to be a single crochet. And then remember where we slip stitch for that picot, that's where we want to slip stitch to cut off. Cut our yarn, and that's your first feather. So what you'll need to do is I put 3 on each side of mine. If you want to put 4 and make it more fluffy, it's totally viewer's choice, but again I did 3 and I did 3 different colors. So go ahead and pause the video and do that, and I will meet you back. Okay, so if you have all your feathers done, and I have mine picked out, I didn't decide to do any oranges with this one. So the next thing we want to do before sewing those on, or pinning those on before we sew on, is get another color of yarn. I went with the darker one this time, and my first one, where is he at? I did a lighter body and head, and then I did the lighter one on the outside, and it kind of helps with the sewing process, so we don't have to do another outer layer on every leaf. That way you can't see the stitches. So go ahead and pick a color and do 1 single crochet starting right here, go all the way around, up his neck, around his face, his head, down his neck, and come back here. You should be able to just do some stitches, and this is single crochet all the way around, 1, 2, 3, until you get back here where you start. So go ahead and do that, and then when we come back we will pin on our feathers and we will start to sew those. Alright, so I've done my outer outline, and I apologize, earlier in the video I said leaf, so we didn't have to do an outer stitch on the leaves. I meant feathers. I apologize for that. So what I did is I went on ahead and I glued the eyes on, and then I just basic sewing the nose with the pointy part in the front, and then the wattle over here, again just basic. I put that really close over to the right side, and you can see kind of where I put his eyes. I kind of went under the center up on top of that. So basic sewing, not a big thing. The next thing we're going to do is take our pins and attach our feathers. And I probably should have sewn in the ends here. But however you want to lay them out, I'm going to do mine like this. You want to probably do it about 1/2 inch, and I would go like right there, like you see where the neck is, and then this dark brown, make sure you have the right side up, and then of course the tails are going to go there, are going to go toward the back. So as soon as I get done taping this little segment, I'm going to sew in all my ends, but I wanted to show you real quick how to pin them on however you want them on. We're just going to take our little stick pins and then just pin them on real quick, just till we get the first row of sewing done, and then we'll take them out because then they'll be sturdy. So that's how I'm going to do mine, and then I'm going to do probably different colors and a different sequence coming back this way. So if you haven't sewn in your ends right here, please do so, because that's going to be a really challenging mess there if you leave them on trying to sew down here, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to sew this way, we're going to sew that way, and we're going to take this outer row stitch color and make sure you have your needle threaded with this outer color so that we can go ahead and sew these on and finish this up. Okay, I forgot to mention, when you put your pins on for your feathers, try to put them on underneath your outer color, because this is where we're going to sew. So if they're in there, then they're going to kind of be in the way. And mine are a little bit too, I'm just now noticing that, but we'll get around. So by now you should have your feathers pinned on and your needle threaded with the outer color. I'm going to show you real quick how to sew this part on. We're going to go in from the back with our sewing needle, pull up. I will show you how to do one side, and then you can do the other side. Probably want to leave about that much because we're going to come back that way. I like to do tulle in there because it's a corner and we don't want it to be flimsy. And so basically what we're doing is we have the stitches set up for us, so we're just going to go in and out of every stitch, every single crochet, go in one way, come out the other one, all the way down to your last feather. And then when you come to 2 feathers, you kind of want to put them together so that your stitches are going through both of them, so they're attached and combined. So I'm going to come back up this next stitch, go back out the next one, come in, and again I want to put both of those together when I come back in. And I don't think I got that one, but that's all right because I'm gonna swindle this next stitch and attach it. Come back up this next one, go back out, and then we're at the last stitch. And again, I like to put 2 on the ends of my stitches just because it makes them more sturdier. So at this point, we've kind of got them attached, so it's okay to take out the pins, and then we want to work our way back up. So what I'm going to do is flip it around and then just secure that outer stitch one more time. It's not going to hurt, definitely. And then we're just going to repeat what we did going down. In the stitches, out the next one. Oops, that was the same one. Come out this one, go in that one, this one, go in that one, without it getting attached to the feathers across the way. And then back out that way. Come back here to your back side, and then I'm just going to secure it with a knot. Get our scissors, our yarn, and you want to do the exact same thing on this side. And make sure that your bottom feather, you know, if you want to count the single crochets, so they're kind of even. You don't want it all lopsided or anything like that. So then go ahead and do this. Come down here and then come back and then detach, and then we can move on to the hat and the bonnet. Okay, so moving on, we're going to do his hat. And I've gotten my larger hook, my 5.0. And to do this hat, we're going to start with a chain 7. So go ahead and do your slip however you, or slip knot however you do. And then we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to just half double crochet all the way back 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to chain 1, turn our work, and I apologize, but this is black yarn and it's hard to see. I'll try to get under the light as much as possible. So we're going to do another 6 single crochets, half double crochets. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know that last one that is kind of hard to see sometimes, but make sure you're counting your stitches. 6. Chain 1, turn our work, and repeat that round of 6 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then one more. Chain 1, turn your work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at this point we want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn our work, and then we're gonna half double crochet the next 10. So we're gonna go, we're gonna chain 1 and then half double crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, turn our work. No, we're not going to turn our work, and then we're going to go right into that chain, initial chain, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then our last chain, which is the very first chain. Now we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and chain 1, half double crochet, 4 coming back, 2, 3, 4. Now at this point you just want to slip into that next stitch at the hat. Chain 1 and cut our yarn. So there's your hat. Let's go ahead and grab your yellow yarn right now. Get it on your needle, and we're going to put the little buckle up on top. So if you want to pause the video. Okay, I have my yellow, and basically what we're going to do is try to center it as much as possible. So we're going to go in through the back, leave about that much, go straight up or to the side, come back down, try to be in alignment with the first time you went in. Same with the other side. And then I like to come back up here, pretty much to the close same stitch, and then come back here, and we want to have our final stitch coming out where we began so that we can tie it in the back. And there's your buckle. So just going to tie this, not necessarily crochet it. Tying it is just fine. This is the back side. So the buckle is done. I'm going to go ahead and sew in my ends, and if you left a tail to sew, that's fine. I'm not doing that for some reason. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. There's no rhyme or reason. So anyway, I'm going to grab my black yarn and I'll meet you back. Alright, so the next part in our turkey pattern is going to be the collar and the bow. Took a while to get this figured out, but I think I did. What I did is went on ahead and used the same sewing method as I did right here for the feathers, and I sewed on his hat. And then you can see the back there. Put some extra stitches on the ends for security. And so now we are going to attach or make his collar. And that will be the final piece as far as the Tom the Turkey pattern goes. I do have the last part where I will be showing you how to put the bonnet on, how to make the bonnet for Teresa the turkey, his wife. So basically everything else is the same. Everything's the same except maybe the eyes, which they can still be if you don't want the eyelashed eyes. But the hats are really the only thing that's different. All the collars are the same, the feathers, everything else. So go ahead and grab your white yarn and your larger hook. Mine is the 5.0. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the collar, and we're going to chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And in the 4th chain from the hook, we want to put 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you are grabbing both yarns in this, otherwise you're going to end up with a big gap. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 2, and in the next stitch on the next chain, we are going to slip stitch. That's it. So in this next chain, next to the slip stitch, well, first we're going to chain 2, and then in the next chain we're going to put 3 double crochets. So again, let's be sure that we're grabbing both of those, because I do not want a big gap. Okay, got them. So 1, 2, 3, and then from here we're just going to slip to the beginning. Chain 1, leave enough yarn. Yes, I'm saying it. Leave enough yarn for you to sew in, which doesn't have to be too much. And then, so you, of course, you'll want to sew in that end, and then here's this collar. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the black ribbon part, because it's super easy. So if you want to pause the video, get your needle and thread it with your black yarn. Okay, so now we're ready just to do the bow portion. So here we have the middle. I like to kind of go in the middle right here. I mean, it's probably viewer's choice. This was kind of challenging. And then once you go in once, you probably want 10 to 12 inches of black. It's better to have extra and cut off the excess than not enough. It's up in there too. So once you have that, I even them out up here, and then I want to tie a knot one time. And then we want to do, and it's okay if the loops are big because we can always adjust them, but we want to do a bow as even as possible. And this is the only way that I could come up with it. If you find out another way, more power to you. Go for it. And it can be a little tricky. Okay, so you see how it's kind of big and gawky? Well, what we have to do is pull those strings. And what I did with mine is I ended up gluing it so it didn't move. But pretty much that is your Tom the Turkey pattern. I think I'm gonna leave about that much. So there you go. And again, if you're good to watch the next portion, the next segment, I am going to show you how to make the super easy bonnet for Teresa the turkey. So see you in a minute. Alright, for this last segment of the video, I'm going to show you how to make the bonnet for Teresa the turkey, which is Tom's wife. And what you'll need to do is grab your yarn, your white yarn, and your large crochet hook. And what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to show you is we're going to start from the third chain up, and then we're going to single crochet a row all the way to the third chain up on the other side. But we're going to do an increase on every third stitch. Then we're going to turn our work, and then we're going to work a shell stitch, which should come out to 4. We're going to turn our work again, and then to get this lifted effect, we're going to do a row of double crochet. So that's what we're going to do. Grab your white yarn, pause the video, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I've been working on this one. I haven't got her feathers on yet, but I'm going to go ahead for the purpose of the video and show you how to do the bonnet. So again, we're going to chain up 3 from the neck. 1, 2, 3. And you can attach however you want to attach. This is how I'm going to attach. And then we want to do a single crochet in that same stitch for our first one. I'm going to work my tail in as I go. Oops. Single crochet in the second stitch, and then third. So in the fourth stitch is when we're going to do an increase. Excuse me. So single crochet 1, single crochet 2, single crochet 3, and in that fourth stitch we're going to do an increase. Again, single crochet 1, single crochet 2, single crochet 3, and then in that fourth stitch we're going to do an increase. Single crochet 1, single crochet 2, single crochet 3, and then we're going to work an increase. So trying to look to see where my third stitch is. 1, 2, 3. So I know I need to do 2 single crochets. So it'll be even on both sides. I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, skip a stitch, and then put 5 double crochets in that next stitch for our first show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch, 5 double crochets for our second show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch in that next, and then in the following stitch we're going to put 5 double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch, another shell, which is a set of 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a stitch, slip, skip a stitch, 5 single crochets or double crochets. 1, 2, 3, kind of tight there, 4, 5. Skip a stitch, which leads us to our last stitch where we're going to single crochet, and then come down here where the first stitch is, and then just do a slip, chain 1. No, we're not fastening off. Now we're going to turn our work. Okay, so we have an even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one came out with 5. So right now what we're going to have to do is in this row where we did the outline color, that's where we're going to go in and do our double crochets, so it will have that lifted effect on the bonnet. So we're going to come in here and chain 2, and then see in these next stitches right here, that's where we're going to go and do our double crochets. They're right next to each other. I know they're kind of hard to see. I'm trying to get under the light here, but that's what you're doing. You're going right in one, going in that one, coming out, just like how we sewed the feathers. That's what we're using those stitches, and I believe this might be referred to as lifted crocheting. Sorry about that. So we're going to do single crochet. So essentially what we're doing is crocheting over that outline color as our guide. There we go. And just in and out. It might be awkward at first, but it does get easier. Oops. Now let's see. And you know, if you crochet tight, it's going to be a challenge, but you can get it. I tend to go in and out with crocheting tight. So this is our last one, and then I'm just going to slip, chain 1, use my scissors, and I will definitely hide that, and then boom, we have our beautiful little bonnet on Teresa the turkey. So that's it. Again, these patterns are exactly the same. The only thing that is making them different from a female and a male is maybe the eyes, and if not, definitely the hats, because one's a bonnet and the other one is a regular hat with a buckle. So thanks for watching. I would appreciate it if you would give me a like. If you want to share the video, copy the link, tag somebody. Definitely would not mind whatsoever. I appreciate everybody's patience. It's been a long time since I've recorded a video. I apologize for my prop. I have to record on my iPad. I did get a camera gifted to me. I just don't know how to work it. I was initially recording off of my cell phone and they were not coming out very nice, but at least with my iPad, the videos are clear. So again, thanks for watching. Check out all my other patterns, and together we will continue to crochet it forward.